The orbital probe cannon, lifting the components into the orbit for assembly, and one somehow sank down beneath the current. You should have seen it. We thought it was impossible for any cannon components to sink even partially below the current, but ours sank straight through to the core. Xava convinced me not to try to recreate the phenomenon using other cannon parts, but we're very curious to know what happened. How could something pass through the currents? Indeed. My gratitude for your interesting question. This is exciting. Spire constructed a model of Giant's Deep here at the Southern Observatory, and it reveals how an object might sink below the current. I'm unable to grasp the answer by looking through the projection pool. Can I visit the observatory? Would you explain? If you don't mind the trek beneath the surface to the South Pole, we'd be delighted to show you. There are two trailheads, one at Brittle Hollow's gravity cannon, and one at the Tower of Quantum Knowledge. Oh, so I think this same projection stone must be available on Giant's Deep. This goes to the construction yard. Yeah. Oh, we were at the construction yard once. A long time ago. We must not have explored everything. There's more to explore here. Cool, cool. Oh, the observatory is looking pretty sexy from the inside. That's only a little disheartening. Alright. We have the cyclone constructions here. Push past the current that usually prevents things from sinking. We're going to craft a model to determine why this happened. An update. It's now clear there are two different types of cyclone. Most cyclones on Giant's Deep rotate clockwise. These are the cyclones, typically sending components up into orbit. Yeah, we've ridden one of those before in outer space. There exists a rarer type of cyclone that spins the opposite direction and pushes objects beneath the waters below the current. My gratitude. Was it necessary to build a model to tell me that? The model will be useful as we continue monitoring Giant's Deep. Also, I very much wanted to make a model. Okay, great. So we've got this clockwise one, which throws things upwards, which is exactly what happens when we get picked up by a cyclone. We've got the counterclockwise one, which pushes things downward. In fact, I can't even boost from here. Great. We've learned many useful things this day. Also, can we just peer out of the observatory up here? Yeah, let's take a look. What have we learned thus far in our search for the Eye of the Universe? Those of us on the vessel originally followed the Eye's signals to this star system. We were unable to warp to the Eye itself. The locator we built on the Addle Rock, which we visited earlier, and the new, more sensitive locator we built here were both unable to detect any trace of the Eye's signal. The Eye has stopped emitting its signal. Suppose the Eye doesn't wish to be found. How can you suggest that? The Eye's signal called out to summon us in the first place. I'm aware. I grew up hearing the Eye's story, yet we're no closer to finding it than you were when you first arrived. Based on our knowledge of the quantum moon, we believe the Eye is in orbit around this star system's sun. This would mean the Eye is located within a finite, albeit enormous, range. So this is their Eye of the Universe locator, huh? Well, this looks like the twins. Yeah, we're calling things up into orbit here. This looks like Timberhearth. Yeah, there's Timberhearth in orbit. This would be Brittle Hollow, where we're standing now, at a slightly further orbit. Giant's Deep is further out than that. And then Dark Bramble, where the Nomai have not yet feared to tread. And then, furthest of all, the Eye of the Universe. Oof. But we don't know its orbit with any sort of exactness. Unable to determine orbit, no signal detected matching any known criteria for the Eye of the Universe. There is yet more writing here, though. How should our methods change as we continue our search for the Eye of the Universe? We know the Eye We know what it looks like, thanks to the quantum moon, which they've, at this point, discovered how to reach. What if we try to find the eye visually instead? Let's send out a probe. It's a clever idea, but we have no idea where the eye is in relation to here. The probability of launching a probe in the correct direction would be absurdly small. I believe I have a solution for that problem. Have you spoken with Raimi and Pi about the technology they're developing? They're the ones working on warp cores, you'll recall. We couldn't find the eye signal using 2 different devices built for the exact purpose. So they should discontinue, shut it down. We're not going to find it this way. We need to build probe launching mechanism to cover these long distances quickly. A cannon in orbit around a celestial body would circumvent the need to escape gravity's pull. Giant's Deep would be a good choice. It's furthest from the sun, except for Dark Bramble, which is too dangerous, I suppose. It would provide the best angles for launch, and it's moonless, except when the quantum moon is visible. So, they constructed the orbital probe cannon around Giant's Deep. In fact, can we see it from here? Gabbro's out there. There's a quantum fluctuation. Yeah, I think we can actually see, if you look real closely, the orbital probe cannon. It looks like it explodes at the start of each cycle. The first thing you see when you wake up. Great. We have learned much on our trip to the observatory. Back out on the surface. Is this where I want to be? Almost decidedly not. Where's our ship? Our ship is, all the way on the other side of the planet, it looks like. Well, let's take the other exit then and go back down into the planet. And probably fall in the black hole again. If I'm being honest with myself. Oh, we can't go back this way, I guess. That's a one-way trek. Very well. We should make our way back to the ship then. So as to not run out of fuel. There's not a lot of planet left. Whoops. Yeah, we're running thin on planet. They do not call it stable, unyielding hollow. Ow. Good thing I've got nice, robust boots. That's right. Did I park? I parked kind of underground next to the gravity cannon. Gravity's at 0.8 here, so our jetpack won't give us infinite thrust. Alright, well here's the gravity cannon. So we should be able to get back to our ship from here. One platform at a time. Coming down from these ledges. Great. Excellent. I'm going to refill my fuel. Okay. So we should also be able to reach the hanging city from here, I would think, if we go the opposite direction. To cross, yeah, the crossroads, and the crossroads goes to the hanging city. If the gravity tubes are still in place, I guess that's not a necessarily a guarantee. In fact, it's looking pretty unlikely. Isn't that it over there? Maybe I can just kind of fall into it? You can always fall into a Brickroad if you mean the black hole. There we go, that's what we're looking for. Great. Perfect landing. Okay, Okay, we don't want to go to the Tower of Quantum Knowledge. That's the wrong direction. I guess we take the crystal path up, then? I like to think of this as like Rybek's apartment. He just lives down on the lower floor, right? You gotta go upstairs if you want to get to the laundry room, soda machines, or... My flashlight was not on for whatever reason. Gravity cannon goes that way. Okay. So yeah, this should go to... Hey, let's take the other bridge this time, and maybe it's still intact. Wouldn't that be wonderful? I'm doing short little bunny hops just to make sure. Yeah, the right length of the bridge. Hey, look at this structure here. This large stone column that's broken off at the top. That looks a little familiar, does it not? Also, we see the warp pad there. Up on the inner side of the surface. That must have been where we collected ourselves when we warped over from Ash Twin, which means this must be the fabled hanging city. Oh, look at this. Yep, there's that's the warp marker right there, and you can see the path that we walked even. All the way to these cables, which means the cables must be attached to the Black Hole Forge down there. Beautiful. What does this say? Black Hole Forge District is way at the top. Eye Shrine District. Weltwater District. School District is at the bottom. Great. Black Hole Forge controls. This is promising. Hey, look at that. So that structure is going to plug in. So now, if we made our way back to Ash Twin and took the warp, we should be able to get into the Black Hole Forge and learn all kinds of wonderful things. But here we got scrolls and things to read. The Ash Twin project requires a powerful, highly advanced warp core. How should we obtain it? A good question. There are scrolls afoot. We could craft a new advanced warp core inspired by the vessel's warp core. That's solution 1. Abandoning the vessel's warp core and its casing means losing valuable knowledge. This is true, however, it's knowledge we have little hope of recovering. It would be best to relearn it, I think. I would very much like to craft such a powerful core. More relevantly, I believe the Black Hole Forge could recreate the basic design. Idea says it's the safest plan. Remember that Idea is the one who doesn't want to build the sun station. They are very wary of perilous things. It is the safest path, the best one. Our goal is worth the risk. Is it, though? We've tried for so long to find something that I and other now believe might be impossible to find. If the search for the eye is a futile one, we should choose the option with the least potential for harm. The greatest challenge is that we don't have the design for such a powerful core, or any of the original crafters of the vessel's core. So the Nomai who crafted the warp core aboard the vessel they took here are no longer alive. Poke was apprenticed to Anona being one of the leaders of the original Expositions who is now dead, but they created the original design, and the Black Hole Forge is adept at crafting simpler cores. I believe I can be of use. The vessel's warp core was created before my time, but Anona explained many of its designs to me. So Poke believes she has what it takes to build a new warp core based off the designs from the one from the vessel. Ah, here's another scroll. I want to make sure I don't inadvertently walk through a patch of ghost matter, because it could be around any corner here. Solution 1. We could take the warp core out of the vessel. We'd have to return to Dark Bramble, Many good Nomai perished there. I wonder if any of the Nomai actually went back. None of them seem to have recovered the bodies that we found, if they did. My mentor, Coleus, who was one of the Nomai who crashed on Ember Twin, his old mentor once discovered and studied an anglerfish fossil on Ember Twin. Using that knowledge, we could avoid the anglerfish entirely. This sounds like a useful piece of information. What Mellor and I learned from that fossil would theoretically help us evade the anglerfish, but our hypothesis was never tested on a live specimen. I remember the anglerfish fossil. We used to play in the fossil fish cave when we were children. So these are Nomai who were children, who were born on Ember Twin, grew up and studied, and now they're the adult Nomai who are taking over, like taking the torch from the previous generation. And something that they learned in a cave they used to play in. We were told that they discovered children in the cave back on the Ember Twin. The vessel's warp core is broken. There's no guaranteed reward for this risk. We could still repair it. My grandmother told me there was little time to assess the nature or extent of the damage. If it no longer functions, the old core could be a valuable blueprint, provided we're able to get it back here. So they had a couple of ideas. One was to take the warp core out of the ship, out of the vessel, if it still existed. Another is to build a second warp core based on that design. Since we found the Nomai bodies in Dark Bramble, I think it's safe to assume that they did not take that route. This is a cool little touch. If you look very closely, you'll see the text that makes up this little squiggle is much more angular and more chaotic than the typical Nomai text, which looks a little smoother. I feel strange trying to recreate Anona's warp core design. At times, it feels strange to no longer be his apprentice. Oh, no, this isn't it. This isn't the writing I thought it was. Disregard what I said about it looking too angular. I guess I was just standing very close to it. That's why I thought that. This will always feel strange. Even though my time with him was short, I miss my old mentor, and deeply. To have the chance to try is thrilling, but I don't want to disappoint everyone. I think I can do this, but what if my excitement has clouded my assessment of my own abilities? Was I wrong in volunteering to build it? I was born in this star system and never saw Anona's warp core with my own 3 eyes. Of course, you'd have to mention you've got 3 eyes. I only know what he taught me. What if I've bitten off a larger portion that I can consume? Still, all I can give is my best, and as Anona would say, should my best prove insufficient, then we will find another way to achieve what's needed. Alright. So Poke is the one who built the warp core that they need based on Anona's design from the vessel. I guess I want to go up there, right? Poke is also one of the ones that died on the Interloper. Where does this elevator take us? I think we were in the Meltwater District. I thought we were in the school district, but no, we were in the Meltwater District. Why is it called the Meltwater District, I wonder? Perhaps these stairs offer a clue. Ah, it's because the water and the ice up here melts in this district. And there's this nice path. It looks like it doesn't go anywhere, but it actually opens up into a nice convenient hole. We have found another shortcut down into the planet. There is, right here on the North Pole, in the Meltwater area, a shortcut down into the Hanging City. Looks like we're just about out of time, though. Oh, also the Quantum Moon is here. Hi, Quantum Moon. I guess I can't... I'm not close enough to actually identify that as the Quantum Moon with my signal scope yet. But if I point away from it, it'll move and it won't be there anymore. I have no idea what I'm standing on. I'm not standing on anything. I'm not standing on anything at all. We are falling into a black hole. Oh, okay, well there's Whitehole Station. And, yeah, the supernova is about to get us. That's not terrific. Big chunks of Brittle Hollow are all around. Oh, I've crashed into one. Well, the supernova doesn't get me on this loop, I suppose. Shoutouts to Eddie for sponsoring this video. If you liked the video and you want to see more, please tickle my thumb, leave a friendly comment, and ring my little bell.